up, Royals? Welcome to Tonitra's Garden. In today's video, we are finally harvesting Roselle. We're gonna harvest it and we are going to make a simple juice out of it. So I am so excited to finally make something out of this plant because it is ready to just fall over. It's already on the ground. So we're gonna make sure that we do something with this Roselle plant. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Hey, Allie girl. Hey, Allie girl. What's going on, girl? Okay, so we have our bowl here. I don't know if I'm gonna fill up this whole entire bowl. It's a pretty big bowl, but we gonna get some Roselle in here. I'm gonna show you guys how to harvest it. So let's get to it. Got my scissors and we're off. So we got a ton of Roselle here. As you can see, it's definitely ready to be harvested. Okay, so we have our Roselle here, and from what I've researched, ouch, you bit me. Go on. So from what, get on, girl. You want some Roselle too? Or you just want some camera time? Allie girl, I gotta film. Come on. Okay, let's try this again. It's so much harder to film with cats. Okay, so from what I've researched, you can pretty much harvest Roselle at any time, but basically you want to harvest the Roselle when the flower has fallen out. Now, what I found is that the flowers don't really fall out. They just kind of dry up like this here. Let me show you a little bit closer. Okay, so they say once the flower has fallen out, you can basically harvest the Roselle. But I don't really see that the flowers are falling out. I do find that you can just pull them out like that, basically. So if you saw that, I basically could just pull the flower out. So this is pretty much ready to harvest. This one, probably you could give it a few more days. So let's try to find another example. This one right here. So the flower is pretty much dried up. This one is a bit bigger than the one I just showed you, which was here. But yeah, you can just basically, pull the flower out and it's ready to harvest. So you can harvest it at this point. It's a little bit bigger, or you can harvest it smaller, or if I come over here, you can harvest them when they are huge and the flower actually does fall out when they're this big. Okay, so it really, you can harvest it at any time, but I think the bigger you let the little calyx get, the more you'll be able to harvest, you know, the more fruit that you'll get off of the plant. So that's what I find. Allie girl is making this video so hard to film. I am so sorry if I'm all over the place, but we're gonna go ahead and start cutting some off. I am using scissors because I don't know, I'm just not great at twisting off fruit with my hands. It just never works for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my scissors and we're gonna harvest some Roselle. Okay, so I am saving seeds from these plants. So I'm gonna harvest some smaller ones and maybe a few larger ones. But if you didn't know, this entire plant is edible. You can eat the calyx and you can eat the leaves on this plant. I haven't tasted the leaves, so I'm not sure how they taste, but you definitely can eat the whole plant. It is edible. So that is pretty cool. And once we're done harvesting, these do have a ton of fire ants on them. I think the fire ants like the sweetness of this plant. We're gonna go ahead and rinse them and make sure they're nice and clean for our juice. And I'm so excited to save seeds for you guys. I thought that I would be saving seeds by now, but they haven't dried out. So I think it's going to be a couple more weeks until these are fully dry. Yeah, your fingers will get dyed and everything. So if you want to wear gloves, do so. Okay. We've got some really good calyx on here. We've got all different sizes. Okay, so I harvested all of these off camera because Allie girl has me so distracted. She is all throughout this Roselle plant. She just wants to play. So I had to just go ahead and harvest these, but I'm just clipping them off, all different sizes. But look how pretty this plant is. If you ever get the chance to grow Roselle, you are going to be so amazed at how beautiful this plant is. So I was able to harvest a good amount of Roselle. I think this will make a nice amount of juice. We're going to take this indoors. We're going to get these cleaned up. I'm going to show you how to get the calyx off, and we're going to make the recipe. So let's do it. Let's go. All right, so welcome to my kitchen. We are going to go ahead and get these prepped. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rinse all of these with some warm water, and then we'll go ahead and remove all the calyx. Likes to hide in here. You know, you can get spiders and ants that like to hide inside there. So just make sure you rinse them. Rinse them good. Okay, they're sounding squeaky clean. Okay, so we're gonna get a knife, and I'm gonna use this big knife. Hopefully it'll work, but we're gonna we'll take this one. We'll use the big one. So we're going to take this. We're going to cut off the bottom as much as we can. This little edge part. And be careful because these can be pretty tough. Okay, so it should look something like that. And then you're just going to go ahead and split it with a knife. Make a slit. And then you can go ahead and just roll everything off like that. And it should come apart. Easy peasy. See? Let me show you one more time. And then inside here you have your seeds. The seeds aren't ready to harvest yet, but those are your seeds. Okay, so let's do it one more time. We'll try this one. Take off this little bottom edge and use a good sharp knife if you can. Take off that bottom part. Should look like that. And then I just like to go in between like a flower to give me a guideline. Make a little slit and just roll out that seed pod. Should come out nice and easy. And then it'll still be like whole but empty. Pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these, and I'm gonna speed you guys up. Okay, so before we get into this recipe, I just want to taste one on camera just to give my honest review of what these actually taste like. Okay. And I have been harvesting these off of the plant and just eating them raw like this. So here we go. Mmm. Mmm. Very tart. Very tangy. It almost reminds me of like the flavor of a pomegranate, or if you ever, I would say if you've ever had like an unripe strawberry, I feel like it tastes very similar to that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this juice recipe. Let's do it. We're gonna start by putting our Roselle into our pot. Okay, and then we're gonna add 1.5 liters to 2 liters of water to this pot. Okay, so we've got 1 liter of water, and I'm gonna leave it at 1 liter because my pot can only fit about 1 liter. And I'm gonna go ahead and let this Roselle steep and boil for about 15 minutes. You don't want to go over 15 minutes. So we're gonna let that do its thing for about 15 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, so it's been about, I would say 5 minutes, and your Roselle should be boiling nice and good. I have it on high, so just keep an eye on it so it doesn't boil over. If you need to turn it down a little bit, feel free to turn it down. Just kind of eyeball it, but go ahead and continue to let it boil. Okay, so while we continue to let our Roselle boil, I'm gonna go ahead and get my ball jar. We're gonna put our sugar in here because this is what I'm gonna put the juice in. So let me grab our sugar, and I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of sugar. For this recipe, and this is probably about 1.5 cups. 1 cup, just pour it into here. Two cups, no, 1/2 cup. A little bit more, there we go. Okay, we have our sugar ready. And for this recipe, you're also going to need some type of strainer so that when you pour the Roselle juice into your container, you'll catch all of the calyx. Okay, so by now your juice should be boiling nicely. You should have some really nice color to your juice, and these calyx should be kind of melting. Okay, we're gonna give it 5 more minutes and then we're gonna go ahead and take this off the eye. Okay, so this Roselle is ready. It is trying to boil over, so we're gonna go ahead and transfer it into our container. We got our jar. We've got our Roselle juice. I'm just gonna place this over top, and I'm going to carefully Ooh. Try to make sure all this Roselle gets into the jar. It's very hot, so be very, very careful. Okay. And there you go. Okay, so I'm gonna set this off to the side. And I'm just gonna add a cup more water to this jar because I couldn't fit another cup into the pot. So we're just gonna add a little bit more water. And we're gonna go ahead and stir it in. This jar is very hot, so just be careful when you're doing this. All right, and I think all the sugar is dissolved. At this point, if you want to, you can go ahead and add ice to this to make it chilled. You can go ahead and drink it warm. I think I'm gonna go ahead and try it warm. And I'll just let it chill. I'll let it cool down and then I'll put it into the fridge. Carefully pour this into a cup. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna let this chill here. I'm just gonna put a towel over it so nothing gets inside so that it can cool down. Okay, so that is the recipe. Super simple, super sweet, and easy. Let's take our Roselle outside and give it a taste. Let me pull up a chair because, oh my gosh. Okay, look how beautiful. OMG. Wow. That's really all I can say is wow. It has such a unique flavor once it's once the flavor is extracted. Wow, this is absolutely delicious. And I believe Roselle is packed with vitamin C, if I'm not mistaken. Antioxidants. Oh, you guys, I wish you could taste this. Wow. This is so good. I'm trying to figure out what it tastes like, but it doesn't taste like anything that I've ever tasted before. It's nice and warm. Wow. It doesn't taste super you would think it would be like citrusy or like a berry flavor. And I'm not getting like a berry flavor. I don't know what flavor this is, but it's good. You guys, once y'all get y'all's hands on these Roselle seeds, you're gonna be forever changed. Like, what? This is giving the flavor of fall, okay? Like basil tea gives the flavor of summer. This is giving the flavor of fall, baby. Wow. I can only imagine how it tastes cold. And I've heard this is like an alcoholic beverage. You can make an alcoholic beverage. You can definitely make tea. You would have to dry the calyx, of course, but 10 out of 10, highly recommend. You see it's almost gone. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I hope that you enjoy this recipe. If you try it, make sure you comment down below and let me know how you like it. If you decide to drink it warm, or if you just decide to chill it and drink it cold, let me know how you like it. I would love to know. All right, Royals, make sure that you give me a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.